6.2 litre supercharged heavy V8, 707 horsepower. Welcome everyone to the DriveTribe Dodge Charger Hellcat widebody. So, this is the new DriveTribe Daily for the next 12 months. It's come here from AEC, who are the chief importers of Dodge and Ram into Europe. And that's why, as far as we're aware, this is the only Dodge Charger Hellcat widebody in the country, because everyone, if they're going to import it, gets the Challenger, not what I think is the much cooler four-door. This is Dodge's M5, so I think it should be a cool comparison between our E61 and this. Let me quickly take you through the spec, starting with the colour, pitch black. This car is full Batmobile spec, apart from the interior, which is sepia leather. I've always wanted a tan interior, so I think combined with this whole package, I'm in love with the spec of this car. So it is specifically the wide body. Dodge will only sell you the wide body now. That's why it's got these 3.5-inch arches on it and all the bells and whistles. Intake, little spoiler on the back. It looks so mean. That's all well and good, but Dodge doesn't make a car for the UK, New Zealand or Japan, which means it's left-hand drive. Combine that with the sheer width of this thing. It's 12 centimetres wider than a Range Rover, which means it's pretty tricky to drive on roads like these in Wales. And it's loud too. So we don't get these cars here, which is why when this shape goes past people on my local high street, they go pretty nuts. The school kids are right up to the fence thinking, what on earth is that? My dad's Volvo does not look like that. And if you believe the internet, this chassis originates from 2005, and the car shares a lot of parts with the Mercedes E-Class at that time, because Dodge and Daimler were kind of in bed with each other. So apparently this car, a 2022 Dodge Charger, can exchange parts with a 2005 Mercedes E-Class. It's not the most promising thing to hear. If I was to liken it to something that we do have here, it would be, I guess, a Jag XJR. Big supercharged V8 saloon car, but it would be as if Jag had made a Jaguar XJR-S, which they never did, because those cars only went up to, I think, 570-ish horsepower. Well, this just dumps another, 125 without even thinking. And let's face it, this car's interior has not been updated since 2011, but they've spent all the money on developing that Hemi V8 on, iterating it time after time, and it's turned into an absolute monster. To make this thing a Hellcat over the SRT, all they've really done is increase the size of the supercharger. That thing up there is a 2.4 litre supercharger, so it's roughly sucking in the same amount of air as a full V6 engine. And this isn't even the top spec. There's the Hellcat Red Eye, which takes things to 797 horsepower using a 2.7 litre supercharger. And I love that simple form of engineering. Bigger supercharger, more displacement, oh look, more power. How about that? If this was a European car, it would have between 500 and 600 horsepower. It would certainly be all-wheel drive, and they would spend a lot of money on the interior, carbon fibre, nice brushed steel, all that kind of stuff. But I can see what Dodge have done. all they've really gone for is ticking the boxes that American petrol heads go for. Big displacement V8 engine, a shed load of power, big comfy leather seats, and all the bragging rights down the bar. I've done a weird role reversal. When we were last in the States, we took a British car, a Lotus Evora, and that felt tiny on what they would call a country road. I'm now substituting in a full fat American performance car on these tight twisties in Wales, and if I'm not touching the verge, the other side of the car's over the white line. You really have to concentrate on lining yourself up with the edge of the road to make sure you're not putting your passenger in the shed. And once you get going, in its natural form, the car is super soft, which again, kind of suits it. But it does have Bilstein adjustable dampers. I haven't looked into the settings too much so far, but once we get on a track, we can muck about with it and really, I reckon, hunker this thing down. I've chatted to ex-Stig Ben Collins about these Hellcats, and he says once you really get them tuned in with the settings, they corner pretty well and they're track weapons if you fancy it. So that will be a video down the line, giving this thing a spanking around a track. Oh shit, suicidal horses. I will be asking at the end of the video what you guys would like us to do with this car, but for now, I have something to declare. We are going to wrap it. I let you guys away with the M5 Touring, fair enough, keep it the colour that it is, just protect it. But with this, there's a very specific reason that we're going to wrap it. The pitch black paint looks great in person, but the camera guys hate it because it's very difficult to make a car look consistently amazing on camera when it's that gloss black. The main thing the camera guys hate is the reflections. They will often catch themselves in the reflection of the car when they're trying to film it, and it's just really, really annoying. So we are going to wrap it, but we're going to keep it classy. If you look at the Challenger Hellcats, they all go for these pretty garish, bright orange, fluorescent green. I just think it won't suit this stealthy four-door car. So we're actually going to pick a BMW colour, and I reckon it's going to look really nice. So stay tuned for that. Hello, Future Mike here. I hope you're enjoying the new car on the channel. But before we continue, I need to talk about today's video sponsor, NordVPN. I often travel around the globe filming videos, and that means I need to access the internet wherever I go. And to make sure that my data and browsing is all super safe while online, I use NordVPN to keep my devices safe. Some hotel Wi-Fi and other internet, like at restaurants, can seem a tad dodgy, as you never know who else is looking at your data. But a virtual private network gives me the peace of mind to browse on my laptop and phone without thinking that anything malicious is happening in the background. It also allows me to access UK servers so I don't miss my football team playing, watch all the F1, and catch up on Peaky Blinders. And especially considering we're thinking of taking this Dodge over to the continent for some proper European road tripping, NordVPN should come in super handy while I'm abroad. I really think we should be playing it safe online, considering most of our information these days is on one of these. So use the link in the description below, or go to nordvpn.com/DriveTribe to take advantage of an exclusive deal on your NordVPN subscription and stay safe while online. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can use it, and if for whatever reason it doesn't take your fancy, you can get all of your money back straight away without any issues. A big thank you to NordVPN for supporting the channel. Back to some bald bloke driving this thing around Wales. In the world of car journalism, long-termers are normally something fairly sensible, but maybe with a bit of spice. Hot hatches are the best combination, and then for publications that also do a lot of video, it helps to have an estate car. So maybe something like a Golf R estate. That's the usual long-term test car. I don't know how Dodge and AEC have thought this was a good idea, but we're going to make the most of it. And let's face it, it won't be long until cars like this don't exist. So if we're going to have a full year at it, we're going to give it absolutely everything before all we're allowed as car journalists are just a bunch of EVs and hybrids. 6.2 litres, supercharged Hemi V8, that will do us for 2022. Of course, with 707 horsepower being the headline here, I do want to test that. You guys seem to like our dyno videos, so we need to find a dyno that's rated to handle over 700 horsepower and see what this car is actually creating. Are the figures that Dodge put in the press release actually true? There's one small thing that I have noticed in my first few miles with this car that I find a bit odd for a Charger Hellcat, considering it's pretty much at the top of the tree. I've got 3 blank buttons on the steering wheel. I don't know what should be there, but if I was someone who'd spent roughly $80,000 once you spec it up on one of these, I would expect to have every single button there. As well as those missing buttons, there are a few things I've discovered I do not like about this car, so let's pull over and have a chat. This car turned up on a low loader with literally 75 miles on the clock, and I've put about 1,000 on it since then, and I have picked up on a few things that I really don't like at all. The first of which being the foot brake. That is what you expect to find on an SUV that you've hired for a week when you go to Disneyland, Florida, not on a 700 horsepower performance saloon. And that cheapness starts to spread throughout the cabin, because the next thing is this dashboard. It looks metallic, but then you tap it and it's horrible, fake, it's plastic. That looks like it should be all stainless steel, and I think there's a carbon fiber option. Carbon fiber. That is nasty. That then continues for the third thing, the steering wheel. It's so cheap and nasty, and it's not that nice to hold, and the paddles are far too small. They're not really satisfying to use. Not a fan. That then leads me to the door bin. We've got this lovely sepia leather which descends into this sepia Fisher-Price plastic. That's the exact same material that my sister's Wendy House kitchen was made out of. Absolutely horrible. And then the final and most infuriating thing about this car, what happens when you lock it. I could go on about the Brembo brakes, the Bilstein suspension, but really all this car is about is that noise. I've never driven a car that has a louder supercharger than this thing, and with the way the world is going, I'll probably never daily anything else like it again. There's not many cars that can bully Range Rover Sports and SVRs on UK roads, but with its shrieking supercharger and sheer girth, the Dodge has the ranges in my neighbourhood scampering out of the way. In the US, these retail at around $75,000, that's £61,000. Now, it'll cost a chunk to import it over here, but the value for the amount of power you are getting is still off the charts. If you want over 700 horsepower from a European car, McLaren will charge you over £200,000, Lamborghini will charge you over £300,000. I reckon you have to go electric to get even remotely the same bang for buck, with the Porsche Taycan Turbo S coming in at roughly £140,000. But why go electric when this is an option? And that leads me to something. If you own one of these, please DM me on Instagram. My handle's @Mike_Fernie. We'll put it up on screen. If you own a Dodge Charger Hellcat, I want to hear from you, because I want to know who you are, what you do, and why you bought one of these. Because we don't get these here, I would love to tune in to the psyche of an American petrolhead who's spent their money on one of these, because they're so ridiculous. I just want to know who you are and what you do, so that I can then adjust and become one of you guys over the next year. And also, while you're at it, tell me what those 3 missing buttons on the steering wheel are. What am I missing? Are you missing them as well? Is this a Hellcat thing? My OCD's going a bit mental there. I want to press them, and it's just a nasty plastic lump. So I hope you guys like new car number 2 for the DriveTribe channel in 2022. We are definitely going to wrap it, but what should we do with our Hellcat? Comment down below. We've got this car for a year, so we've got plenty of time to do some cool stuff with it. So if you've got any ideas, comment them down below. We will look through it and we'll try and convert as many of them as possible. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I've been Mike, and don't forget to subscribe to DriveTribe.